Liftoff and the clock has started.
Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, and a microphone that works. It's the 22nd of October 2021. Outside, as I was setting up the show this evening, fireworks were going off. Fireworks! Now, wait a minute. November the 5th, if I remember rightly, is on the 5th of November, a month we have yet to get into. And yet, here we are on the 22nd of October on a Friday evening, at least 2 weeks before the event is supposed to happen. Bing! Bong! Fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. The works of fire, which beggars belief. Why do you suppose that is? Please let me know. I don't understand. Have we extended everything? Also, at least 2 weeks ago, I've started to hear Christmas adverts on the radio. I don't listen to many commercial radio stations, but the one commercial radio station that I did listen to was playing Santa chords. Yes, not Santa Claus, Santa chords. Ding, 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 ding. So is it too early for these things. Have we missed the boat? In my opinion, these things come round far too quick. Is it because the companies have had a terrible, terrible year the last 18 months or so, which of course is more than a year, and they're just desperately trying to make up money? Or are they trying to get their money in before the government decides to shut everything down? Because I believe that Savage Javid, as I'm now going to call him if he goes into Plan B or even Plan C, which I think Plan C, if I remember rightly from the government, is to put ourselves all into a straitjacket and dangle ourselves upside down in the airing cupboard. I think that is probably the only way that we'll get out of any difficult situations with all unknown viruses, known viruses, which we never had the year before last, and of course the common or garden flu. Not to mention anything to do with mosquitoes, bats or earworms. They're all over the place. Anyway, welcome to the show. It's very nice to see you. Thank you very much. As you can see, I am on my lonesome tonesome tonight. There's no lovely Julia, and hopefully you can... Hello? Can you hear me, mother? You can hear me. Let's hope that is sounding much better. I'm going to have a look on the didgeridoo a bit later. Yes, thank you very much. I put on a nice jacket. I've got my old paisley... No, it's stars, isn't it? Stars tonight. Nice sheeny shirt. And actually, you may actually see the hint of a vest underneath, because I can tell you it's blooming cold up here in the new studio. I call it the new studio. We've been here for quite a while now, but it's got no heating in it whatsoever. And as we head towards the winter months and the cold evenings, it's going to be a chill fest. So I'm going to have to address that. Poor old Julia, who comes in the show 2 nights of the 3 that we do. She ain't going to like the cold factor. I mean, I can sit here with my warm woolly gloves on, a scarf, a hot water bottle chinned around my neck, and I'll be quite happy. Ludicrous, I admit. It will look a bit ludicrous, but I'm happy to give it a whirl if you're happy to join me in the warmth and comfort of your own home. Yes, I think poor old Julia is going to shiver her timbers. And timbers will never be shivered. So we'll probably have to try and find some form of heating system that doesn't rely on gas, because gas is very expensive, and that doesn't rely on these newfangled heat pumps. Although, of course, as somebody has mentioned, Sean James Cameron says maybe open the coal fire in that room. There is a fire there. We could open the fireplace and put in a little wood-burning stove. That would be rather nice. It would be great because we could sweep the chimney, that's what we do, and get rid of all the pigeons and the gulls, the herring gulls, because we're not allowed to say seagulls, because these are herring gulls. Can you hear me up there, Mr. Herring Gull? Yes, of course they can, which is very nice. Joanna Jones says she's under a blanket. I don't blame you. Are you feeling the pinch of the weather at the moment? I went out in my van this morning, and it said 7 degrees. Only the other day it was about 17 degrees, so it seems to have dropped down in the mornings by 10 degrees in the space of a few days. But then we are coming towards the end of October, and traditionally, of course, it is cold. Now, be interesting to know if it does get cold, because apparently we've all got this global warming, allegedly. No, wait a minute, hang on. I think we first told that in the 70s, or was it the 60s? 10 years to live, and wait a minute, then it went to the 80s, and of course, then it was another 10 years, and it's all going to be dreadful, or was it 12 years? 12 years, and because 12 years then passed, and nothing really happened, and then suddenly, oh, wait a minute, there was a blip. We got it wrong. The curve is... No, it's going to be the next 10 years. Oh, yeah. Do we believe any of it? I don't. I don't believe any of it. It's all a scam. It's all a thing to make money. People are falling in left, right, and hook and centre. I don't understand it, but there we are. Now, let's find out who's out there in the Vobosphere, see who's joined us this evening. Means I've got to scroll right back to the beginning of time. So, who have we got there? There's Joseph and Mary. That's nice. Noah has turned up. Moses. Oh, good. Yeah, Moses is busy scribbling on his tablet. Well done, Moses. And any other characters? Job. I believe Job is there. Why is Job, by the way, pronounced Job instead of not Job? I mean, he must be the first bloke who was employed, wasn't he? Was he the first bloke? This is you. How does 6 groats a week, if you can do something for me?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm going to employ you.
Oh, right.
Yes, nobody's ever been employed ever before. In fact, we don't even have a term for it, but I've just made that up. Employment. I am going to employ you, Job.
My name's Job, actually.
No, I'm going to call you Job because you are going to do a big job for me.
I hope not.
No, not like that, you fool. You are going to do some exciting work, and they will write a book about you. Well, somebody will. What's her name? Holly Bibley. She will write it. She's a very good writer, is Holly Bibley. Holly, have you got the first draft there?
Yes, I've got the first draft. I'm going to call it the Bibley.
The what?
After me, Holly Bibley. I'm going to call it the Bibley.
Oh, the Bibley.
Yes. Anyway, it starts with this idea that in the beginning there was light.
Light, right? Okay, yeah, that's a good start. Yes. Where does little Job come in? Job come in?
No, he's not in there first. First of all, there's light, and then there's cameras. Then I thought there'd be some action, and that's where Job could come in.
Ah, there you are. You see, Job? You come in at that point, at that moment, Job. And what does he do?
Well, I thought he could go down, 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 right down to the town and go up on the downs, and he would have a frown. Oh, I think it's a good idea.
No, scrap that. Rubbish. Job, I don't want to employ you. We'll just carry on with the Vobe show, if it's all the same with you. Who else did we have in the... I can't remember any of the other biblical players. There was a number of biblical players, but I'm sure one will remember them. Oh, wasn't there a bloke called Herod? There was a chap called Herod. He had the arrow in the eye, if I remember. If I've got that right, back in the day, poor old Jesus was floating in his Moses basket, and he was playing Cowboys and Indians. You know how they do, Cowboys and Indians. You're not really supposed to do that anymore. Cultural misappropriation, cancel culture. Be very nice if somebody did actually cancel the show. It means I wouldn't have to dress up on a Friday night and do all this nonsense. But, you know, there we are. This is where we go. And, by the way, if you're trying to ring the 07934746790 number, don't bother. Because you won't get through. Just so you know. Because this is the SIM. Yes, we've got a new phone coming for Julia, and then the studio phone will come back here. But at the moment, it's not. It was supposed to be delivered today. It was going to be delivered today, but I was out. I missed it by an hour. Isn't that annoying? You get a parcel, you go, oh, I've got to go and do some filming, or everyone's going to moan.
Where's our video? Where's our video? Saturday morning. Where's our video?
You know what they're like. And I thought, oh, well, I've got to go and make a video.
Where's our video? Where's our video? Where? Where's our video?
It's our video. We will exterminate, kill the doctor. I obey. Of course you obey. I told you what to do. Yes, I know, but that's what it says in my script. I obey. I spent a long time learning those words. 3 weeks on a Castrol GTX ferry. What were you doing on a Castrol GTX ferry? I was learning the sodding lines. Oh, righto. Anyway, how did we get into Daleks? I don't know. We were going to read the Holly Bibley and see who has turned up for the Vobe show. Oh, yes.
Anyway, who has turned up for the Vobe show? Probably distorted, and it's all gone terribly wrong. Nobody can call in, you see, nobody can do anything until Mondaddy. The new phone is coming on Mondaddy, so we'll be all right. Right, the lovely Julia is out there. Hello to you, lovely Julia. Very nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. It's very good of you. Colonel Craig Ratty, delighted to see you. Do sit down, make yourself... Take your shoes off, for goodness sake. Put your goggles over there, and... no, don't take your hat off. Alison O'Brien, wonderful to see you. Help yourself to some champagne. Anna Jones, it's very lovely to see you. I see you're wearing your slippers, very wise. And Michael White, good to see you in your lab coat. Now, no dissecting the frogs during... I said no... Oh, God. You're supposed to actually numb them first. Never mind. Daniel Watkins, good to see you. Hope you're in a good mood this evening and nothing has troubled you today. Sean O'Brien, very nice to see you with the sci-fi and fantasy helmet on. I see the little propeller is whizzing round. That's all very good. And Andy the Collector, what is the latest thing in your collection? Oh, an orangutan. Nice. Yes, where are you going to put that? In a matchbox? Oh, it's a very small orangutan. Right, fair enough. And who else have we got there that I haven't said? Mark Burgess. Yes, good to see you out there on the Romney Marshes again, playing with your little train set, the Romney Hythe and Dymchurch. Look out, don't get run over. Anna Jones, I think I mentioned you already, Anna Jones, yes. Edward Moulding, great to see your lovely moulding on the top. I've got some mouldings up here in honour of you. They look lovely, they're fantastic. Every time I look, I think, look at that Edward up there. There's another, that's a good, actually that bit of Edward there just need changing, to be honest with you. It's got a bit damp, but never mind. But the real Edward is never damp. Never, never, never damp. Who else in the great scheme of things has joined us this evening to be insulted by the Vobes? John B. Have. That would be good. Kerry Baldwin, lovely to see you. You're getting away absolutely scot-free with nothing against you, as is Lisa L, mainly because I can't keep thinking up things. Joanna Jones, nice to see you. I think I saw your name. If I didn't, I've just fantasised about you. It must be somebody else then I saw whose name it is. Lisa L, good to have you. Didn't I just say that? I can't remember. Lisa L, L of a life, innit? Station Master's choice. If you're going to choose any station, I would choose Burnies. Burnies is the station to have. John B, I've said station. John B, Dougie Warbucks. Good evening to you. What a lovely name, Dougie Warbucks. It's a very nice way. And Paul Cockrell, Tracy Murphy, Genoa Jones, there she is. After all that, you see, I told you I was fantasising again. Linda Kane.
Oh, Linda, please.
Yes, the dominatrix has arrived. Strutting about. Every time the image gets more preposterous in my mind, but it's lovely to see you. And thank you for your email, either yesterday or today or the day before. Or maybe it was tomorrow, whenever you were saying some nice things. So it was lovely to receive it. And Audrey Forbes, of course, Audrey Forbes. You're very, very welcome. It's the silverware is coming out. We'll replace all the trays, and we'll make sure that so you can sit there with your very long, what do you call that thing that you stick a cigarette, the long cigarette, whatever, I can't even remember what do they call that thing? The long cigarette, Audrey Forbes sitting there, yeah, to the manor, which is marvellous. Daniel, I said all that. Val Pragnell and Nigel Sadler coming in like two racing drivers down in their Hillman 400s. I don't know if there is a Hillman 400, but it was the first name that came into my mind. KP, he's nuts. It's good to see them. Place them on the counter and put some salt and vinegar on them. Robert Maudsley, nice to have you with us. And Ron Langley, good to see you here. Simon is here, so he said. And Alan Sandell, which is fantastic. Moracle. Ernie, how the devil are you? Sean James, of course, is sitting there in the nice wicker chair with Alan Wicker, of course. Good evening. And Michael, why I've said that, Michael, just quickly, Stephen Agger, there we are. Now, we do have a video by Mr. Agger. Continuation of Rochester. No, not Mr. Rochester from one of those novels by whichever one it is, the Emily Bronte brothers. Is it Emily Bronte or is it Jane Eyre? I always get those two confused. Emily Bronte, Charlotte Rampling, and Gary Lineker. Kerry Baldwin says something. East Sussex Bonfire Societies. Oh, yes, here we go. Now we got some sensible stuff. East Sussex Bonfire Society. It couldn't have been East Sussex, surely. I mean, my hearing is good, but it's not that good. East Sussex Bonfire Societies started in September, so they can get round to them all. Oh, I see. So what, every week? I don't understand how that works. So the people who are interested in bonfires go out every week if they're in East Sussex, so they go to every village and just start a bonfire. Isn't that arson? It might be. Lisa L says, I think it should be professional displays only. Too many idiots allowed to buy them. Yes, too many idiots allowed to buy those professional displays. Exactly. John B says, I've got my Christmas tree up ready. I thought you were saying you got your Christmas turkey ready then. Mr. Mocky says, Christmas shouldn't start before December the 15th, at the very earliest. Oh, yes, Mr. Mocky, lay down that law. By the way, Mr. Mocky, I can't remember if I thanked you very much for that donation that you sent in. I've got a horrible, sneaky feeling that I didn't actually get round to doing it. I saw it come in after the last show. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. £552,000 of mouldy potatoes. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I really appreciate them coming in. I can probably make a mattress out of them. It would be very nice. Ron Langley says that you can get silent fireworks now. Wouldn't that be marvellous? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the silent firework party. Let's let off a big silencer. I think you'll agree that was pretty quiet. That's marvellous. What have we got there? A shush wheel. A shush wheel is coming up. And clamp your hands over the ears because you won't hear this. Lovely little thing. Goes like a rock kit. Yes, have you got a rock kit? If you've got a rock kit, you can open the box, take out your geologist's hammer, and bang very quietly like an ant on the side. It's a lovely little piece. It's a rock kit. It doesn't go flying up into the air and whoo, showering you in carbolic soda. Why would it? Nothing really does. Thankfully, I do have my water bottle, says the lovely Julia. Yes, I'm very pleased that you have that because you're going to need it, I can tell you. We have lots of other people probably have joined us. Anne Wright is one. She says, it's sofa on the blanket time. Sofa on the blanket time. Marvellous. Right, let's now. I seem to have just jumped a whole million numbers of all your typing, which is super duper. But I've no idea. Jackie HW is there. She says, I think you need to bring the iPhone over tomorrow, Richard, so we can show you how to use it. I'll show you the on button. Yes. The problem with the iPhone is that I can't plug it into the studio because the iPhone has a weird... It doesn't have a proper USB socket because, you know, they want it to be rotten. And so I can't, you see, when I plug it, look, it's very simple. I have a lead here. It's a tiny little lead. You see, one end goes into the desk, the other goes into a phone, and that goes into the... Now, it doesn't work with my Samsung S, funnily enough, but it does work with the China phone, which you have to be very careful with because it's very brittle. It's only Bakelite. But it goes in there, and if it's got a USB and no headphone socket, whereas my old-fashioned phone has got a headphone socket, so but unfortunately the headphone socket slips. We told you about this last time, so I can't do it. Anyway, never mind all that nonsense. So this lead plugs into another lead, which I've unplugged it from, and I just plug it back in. There we are. Like, oh, you can't see. There you are. Look, see, wiggly, wiggly. But the iPhone is just playing silly buggers because it won't do it. Otherwise, it would be absolutely perfection. Apart from the fact it's only got one button on it. One button. It hasn't got a back button, and how many buttons has this got? I don't know. It's got 3 buttons down the side. I forget. One is go back to something. One is what other things are on the screen. It's very, very good. Anyway, that was that. But what else have we got? Joanna Jones says, Julia must come and calm Richard down. Yes, I need calming down. Mr. Mocky says, OK, so who has been feeding Vobes blue parties today? Do you mean Smarties? Yes, who's those? John B says, I once attended a Christian fancy dress party. I dressed up as a burning bush. I'm glad it wasn't Basil Brush. Yeah, that would have been funny, wouldn't it? Not Richard O'Brien, says Mr. Mocky. No, Seabird. Hello to you, Seabird. The 80s seabird is in the house. Ah, lovely to see the seabird in the house. Colonel Crogratty says, thank you. I have my hat and goggles on, but what else? Ah, well, we don't want to worry about that. You've probably got... I can't think of that little clip now. What do you call that funny clip that you put your ropes into to hold everything up? You've probably got one of those on. It's got a name, hasn't it? Davy Vad. Yep, he's there. Lord Geoffrey Harrison. He says, Richard, question. In the picture, The Last Supper, when they were drinking wine and bread, why isn't there no cups on the table? Do you mean why isn't there any cups on the table? Why isn't there no cups on the table? Let's see, that's a double negative, isn't it? Which basically means why are there cups on the table? See, if you're going to give me a double negative, I don't quite know how to answer it. Maybe they just drink out the bottle. Do they? Is there a bottle on there? And is it the Blue Nun? That's probably, cheap and cheerful stuff, isn't it? Mr. Mocky says, hello, mother, can you hear me? I can. Seabird says, don't forget the seabird is on the house. Yes, hopefully the seabirds aren't on the house. Colonel Crowatty says, we need little Eric to come down from the loft and keep Richard under control. That'll be the day. Alison O'Brien suggests walnuts. Apropos of, I don't know what, but how good is that? Station Master's Choice says Hillman 400. I don't know what that is. He says, I'd rather have an AH3000. I'm not quite sure what an AH stands for, but it sounds like a battery. And now a word from our sponsor. How much? How much? How much is that? Just going through the rest of these at 97. We have got 3 videos to get through as well, by the way, but we've almost done 24 minutes and I've not yet finished opening my mouth. Audrey Forbes says Charlotte Bronte wrote Jane Eyre, who married Mr. Rochester. Oh, right. Was it Jane? So Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. So Jane, who's... Oh, the other one I was thinking there was Jane Austen. So easy to get confused. Did Jane Austen write Charlotte Bronte? Is that how that worked? And which one was the Wuthering Heights woman? Was that the
Wuthering Heights.
I can't remember her name. Who sang wildly when she was only like in her 20s, wasn't she? The woman who did that. What was her name? The Kate Bush. Thank you, Kate Bush. Did Kate Bush write Jane Austen? And did Jane Austen sing Charlotte Bronte? And did Charlotte Bronte tap out in Morse code? Imagine having to read books in Morse code. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? There you are, the murder mystery of the man with the dodgy finger. The man with the dodgy finger. And if you had a stutter, that would be the man with the ding stutter. That would have been, if you had that would have been hilarious. I don't know why I'm not laughing. Mark Burgess saying, having a bonfire next Tuesday. Oh, good for you. Let's sweep up all those leaves, get them on the fire, nice and smelly, a lot of smoke. Make sure you do it when the neighbours have got their washing out. That's always the best time. Seabird says, Vobe Show, don't forget that Seabird is in the house tonight. Yes. All right, so you've made that point several times. Seabird is in the house. I don't know what it means. It's probably code for the Germans to invade a second time or to send out a flotilla of paper aeroplanes. I heard that, pardon. Simon says, got my friend an unnecessarily large rocket this year. He's over the moon. Oh, did he join William Shatner? Did he join him for space? The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 2.6-year mission to seek out new Vobe shows, new life in them, and stop any civilization. To boldly go where there's Grimsdale. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Stop it. To boldly break every microphone you can. I have my whiskey bottle. I am not cold, says Mr. Mocky. I'm not surprised, which is nice. Sean James Cameron says, saw on the news the story of a man who tried to move his Essie and it fell on him and killed him. Really? I think you're making that up. And Mr. Mockett also says it's lighting connector. It's a far superior it's a light. Oh, he's talking about this wonderful. It's a lightning connector. Yeah. You don't want to be doing a show on a very wet and windy night because you don't want the lightning connector to do it. It's far superior to USB, and the the headbones work through it. No, I'm sorry about that. I'm afraid it's all very backward technology, that Mac stuff, that Macintosh. Nobody wears Macintoshes anymore, do they? Who goes out in a Macintosh? Everybody's got a hoodie these days. USB-C. Ah, I see. Mr. Mock, what is that? The iPhone is preferred by sailors. Aye, sir. Aye, phone. I see what you did there, Mr. White. Austin Healy, says Colonel Cragratty 3000. And Austin Healy. Is that like a Dennis? Is that like a bit of a Dennis? He was a silly bully. Dennis Healy. Yes, everyone's telling me that. Better late than never. Jeff and Mandy, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Sorry I'm late. Hello.
Hello. Nice to have you here. Evening, Pauline. Pauline has arrived. Hello, Pauline. Do pull up a Nimbus. Have a sit down. Rest. Kate Bush, everyone's telling me. Late Bush? Yes. Shade Bush. No, don't go down that road. Carol says, anyone know why my comments keep disappearing? It's the third time. Poof!
They just vanish into the ether. Nobody knows where they go.
I'm not at all surprised. Right, a stir-sutter for fetch the cloth, Granville. Oh, yes, there we are, very good. Right, where are we? I don't know. The Titanic sent the first SOS, says Lord Jeffrey. Is that true? The first SOS. Da 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 dee 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 da 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 dee 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 da dee 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 da dee dee da. Wasn't Austin Healy from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Says, I don't think it was. I think it was Ford Prefect, wasn't it? Dennis Healy's eyebrows were amazing. That's true. They were amazing. And I think you can still buy them at auction. Not on eBay. I think you have to go to a specialist dead man's eyebrows auction, of which I'm probably the only one. I can't think of anybody else who had caterpillars above their eyes in the same fashion that good old Dennis Healy. But there we are. Anyway, I managed to catch up more or less with all the comments. Thank you very much. I thought it was Morris Traveller. Yeah, Morris Traveller would have been great for a travelling person going round the universe in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with Peter Jones as the book. Would have been fantastic. Anyway, Terry Banton, he says, hi, if you're not answering your phone. Now, Terry Banton, just so you know, just so we can make it complete, it's very difficult for me to answer the phone at the moment, mainly because this is it. We did this just a few minutes ago. This is the SIM card. Tiny, isn't it? Tiny, tiny little thing. It's not actually in the phone. So don't hang on a minute. Look, there you go. Don't ring it. 07934746790. Can't ring it. Don't ring it. Don't even try to ring it. There's no phone connected to it. It's just me and you and a dog named Boo. Now, what I can do, and let me know if you would like me to do this, if you would like to join me, if you're desperate to show your visage on the show, if you would like to join me, ladies and gentlemen, via webcam, I can put the link up and you can join me. But just let me know. Put at the Vobes Show, all one word, at, the @ sign, the Vobes Show, all one word, and let me know. Colonel Crograd says the Titanic sent an emergency message, GCQ, I think, and after the disaster, the SOS was devised. Oh, CGQ. What does that mean? CGQ. Yeah. The studio phone is in my hand, says the lovely Julia. Yes, if you're ringing the lovely Julia, then you'll have a nice conversation with her, but you won't have a conversation with me. Yes, do it, says Mr. Mocky. Do it. It's at the Vobes Show. You must obey. You must obey the rules. Otherwise, I'll have a tantrum. Simply a SIM card, says Terry Banton. Sorry, I was late. No, that's all right. We can just make a note of that, will you, Jenkins?
Make a note. Terry Banton, late. It's the late Terry Banton.
I don't mean late as in, I did actually follow a hearse today. I thought that'd be an interesting new sitcom. Follow the hearse. Follow the lovely hearse. See where the dead body is going. Dig it up and chuck. No, I don't think it would be a very good sitcom, to be honest with you. There probably was a sitcom about. I think there wasn't there a sitcom about funeral directors? Although I've never really understood a funeral director being much good. You can imagine, can't you, at a funeral and the funeral director coming out and going, right, all you stiffs, I want you to get up. Come on, up, and march over there and action. No, come on, up, out of the ground. Come on, and you. I know you've been lying there for 400 years. I just want you to get up and go over there in the start position. All right? Come on, up. Stand by and roll 'em. Action. No, oh, you're just lying there. Who booked him? He's dreadful. He's absolutely dreadful. Mind you, we could cast him as the corpse. Yes. Are you any good at laughing? Sounds a bit depressing to me. Yes, it probably is a bit depressing. Follow that hearse. Could be a great film, you know. I think, didn't Dudley Moore and the other bloke, Peter Scott, no, Peter, what's his face, and Dudley Moore, did Pete and Dud, those two. Peter, what was his name? Peter Pepper. Which pecker pickled pepper did Peter Piper pick? Of all the pecks of pickled pepper, Peter never puck a pickled pecker. He should have done, but he didn't. Of all the felt I've ever felt, never felt a piece of felt that felt like that felt. Sounds like Follow the Hearse. Sounds like a Philip Mercer story. Yes, I think it possibly could well be. Yes, there we go. Cook. Peter Cook. Oh, yes, of course. Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. Thank you very much. Didn't they do a film called The Wrong Box? Dreadful film. I remember watching it. It's 1960s or something. Called The Wrong Box. Number of famous other people in it. I think, actually, Michael Caine was in it. Dreadful film. I can chat to you, says Colonel Cragratty, via the link. Dun, 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 dun. That would be good. Okay, well, we're going to play a video and I'll set it all up. John B says, if anyone has a long face at my funeral, I'll never speak to them again. If anyone comes along to my funeral, I'll never speak to them again. That would be great. Anyway, Kerry Baldwin says, down to earth, the politician. Oh, what? Very down to earth politician, and like the fact that I had classic FM on the radio. Now, not quite sure what he's talking about. But there we go. He's talking about something or other. A funeral director, dead end. Yes. Great. Okay, so it is now 35 minutes past the hour, and I need to rest my tonsils. Not that I've got them, of course. They're probably sitting in a jar next to my fake eye. I had my tonsils removed, as well as my adenoids. And I've had how many bits and pieces of your body have you had removed? And do you know where they are? Teeth, of course. A number of my teeth have been taken out in my youth. But otherwise, I still do have very, very important things. The, what is that appendix thing? The appendix, yes. I've still got that. Have you still got your appendix? Hands up.
Hands up, everybody who's lost a limb.
Oh, no. Well, you may have lost a leg, of course. Stand up if you've lost a leg. Hands up if you've lost your arm. No, that's not what I mean. And give me the middle finger if you've lost a digit. No, wait. Stop. You're mucking about. How many people have actually lost? The best film Michael Caine was in is The Man Who Would Be King. All right, okay, fair enough. We're talking about limbs and legs now. We've moved on. Keep up. So, yeah, who has lost something from their body? You know, I mean, not in a way that you were walking down the road and went, hang on a second, just a minute. You know, when you go in and you go to buy something and you shuffle in, and they say, here we are, this is the item, this new iPhone 600. Oh, yeah. How much is it? And you come out the shop on stumps like this. And it's cost you an arm and a leg. Okay, that joke was well worth waiting for, wasn't it? Yeah. Thanks. So, what else? No tonsils. Judith has lost her tonsils, but everything else is intact. Marvellous. What else have we lost there? Get Carter, says Robert Morsley. Yeah, that was a good film. I think the Ipcris File was a good one, as well as the Italian Job. That was a good one for him. We're talking about Michael Caine at that point. Ah, the old cattle defroster. says Mr. Mock. I don't know what he's on about now. Anybody else? I've only one usable tooth. Thinking of changing my name to Juanta. Right, okay. I'm not quite sure who Juanta is, but that's showing my ignorance, no doubt. Still got most of my bits, says Audrey Forbes Hamilton. Well, I'm very good. Marbles, Mr. Mocky. He's lost his marbles. Well, that's very easily done, isn't it? Which president liked 17th century classical music, says Dave Ivad? A. Barack Obama. Oh, right, that's the answer. I thought that was A, one somebody. B, but that A meant answer, didn't it? What else have we got there? Audrey says, I may have a few bits that have become redundant, though. Oh, that's no good. Dan Ludlow. Hello to you, Dan Ludlow. One eater. One eater. One eater. One. What do you mean, one eater? Where does that come? One eater. I may have one eater. Yeah, you lost me there. Juanta equals one eater. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. I was spelling it how I was pronouncing it phonetic. I have to blame my secondary education for that, comprehensive, because they taught me phonetic. You know, everything is phonetic. So there we go. One eater. So I can't even remember where that came from. Probably came from somewhere. It was probably very exciting. Seabird says, I've lost my wing. Oh, so you have to walk everywhere, I suppose. Did they wing your neck, or did you wing the wrong number? Joanna Jones says, I've lost a kidney due to an infection from kidney stones. Well, if you will eat kidney stones. I'm very sorry to hear that. You've only got one kidney left. Whew, it's like me. I've only got one eye left. Do you know, I've also only got one nose left, which is lucky, but I still got two nostrils. I don't take any of that Coca-Cola that, deflates your nostrils enough. Very funny, John B, says Jackie HW. Yes, I couldn't work it out, but anyway, there you go. I'm glad somebody worked it all out. We're going to go into the... Yes. Now, do you remember David Keel? David Keel, he's come back. He's come back with another video. Lovely to see you, David Keel, and thank you for sending in this video. It's autumn at Aldingbourne. Do you know where Aldingbourne is? It's a place. We'll find out more.
Hi there. I'm just near the village of Aldingbourne. On this road on the right, that goes from Aldingbourne to Chichester. Just going to go down this lovely path. I used to come here some years ago, and there used to be a heron. Every time I came, there was a heron over on the other side somewhere. So I just thought I'd come along today. Some of the autumn leaves are starting to fall now, so that's great. An overhanging tree that is hanging down into the lake. I think these things are part of the old mill that used to be here. It's just a house now. It's amazing how quick the autumn has come. And it's got really cold, and except I think the weather's been nice. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Oh, sorry, there's my shadow. Yeah, thanks for watching.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? How about that? That was lovely. Thank you very much, David Keel, for sending that in. Aldingbourne, near Chichester, in West Sussex, in England, the south of England. That's that funny little island thing in the sort of north of, well, fairly north, sort of floating separately in Europe on that sphere called Earth. Anyway, that's where it is, and I think it's somewhere in the solar system, not quite sure. Probably something to do with Ursa Minor or words to that effect. I don't know. That maybe that's one of the neighbours. Who knows? Anyway, nowhere near here. Brilliant stuff. David Keel, thank you very much. Lovely hearing your soothing and relaxing voice. Everyone's trying to pinpoint where you come from. And of course, as we all know, you come from Devon. So we still have a video by Stephen Agger and Bernie in Rye, which we will come to. Now, if you would like to join me in taking over the world this evening and putting the world to rights and then putting it back into its little box and tucking it up for a good night time, you can. All you need is some form of telephonic device that has a camera in it and an internet connection to the internet with a connection of some significance. And then, or indeed, /forward and /back. Never know the difference between a /forward and a /back. It's just if you /forward, you won't get it down your leg. If you /back, you probably have to go to the dry cleaners too many times. Or you, I can't remember where I was going with any of that, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I now need to give you a link. That's what I was going to do. And I'm going to do that in a special Chasmagoric way. And we can add you to the system and you'll be able to take part in it. And there it is. There is the link. It's now gone out in the chat room. You can't see it. It's not on the feed, and if you're watching this several months after the event, none of this will make any sense to you because everything we talked about has probably water under the bridge, and in fact it's probably trickled into the aquifer now and disappeared to different parts of the world, probably Eurasia, which I think, was that a band in the 80s, Eurasia? It was something like that. So anyway, you can add yourself to the bits and pieces, and I believe you should be able to talk to me and the audience as well. However, last time we had problems with it, and I've done nothing to change it. So it may not. I was working heavily night and day for months on end without a break just to try and get these microphones to work. And I think they have. We do have somebody coming along, which is rather curious now, who would like to join us. By the way, you don't actually have to have a camera. You could just join us by audio. That's perfectly all right. I'm not quite sure how we do that, but a number of people, I can hear people. So I'm going to put my headphones on and see what's happening. Now, if you are joining us, I'm not quite sure what you do to turn off the audio that comes in a... Yeah, don't do that. Whatever that was. I don't know if people can hear that. People may or not. I have no idea. We're going into this Friday night is a technical nightmare night. Let's see who we've got here. Right, I'm just going to... Right, I'm just muting everybody at the moment because it's all too complicated. Right, let's first of all bring in Colonel Cragratty, who is sitting there. It looks like he's not got any clothes on, so that would be interesting. Hang on a minute, I have to go into the contributors department, and we'll see what Colonel Cragratty is. Oh, there he is. Look, hang on a minute. Oh, there's some weird thing going on with his screen, but let's see if we can... Oh no, not that one. Colonel Cragratty, let's unmute you and see if we can hear you. Hello. Well, I've unmuted him and now we can't. Hello, can you hear me? No, he's moving. He is moving. Have you got a microphone on there, Colonel Cragratty? Have you? It's going to be one of these shows again, ladies and gentlemen. This is... I can't wait for Monday when we get the studio phone back and this tiny little thing. I mean, it's amazing. I've got a computer here with a screen and all these sort of things, and all it takes is this tiny little thing to be in the right phone, and we can actually have phone calls. Don't ignore what this bit. Not that. That's me. Ignore that bit. There is Colonel Crab. We can see him, but we can't hear him. Are you able to say anything? He's not. Meanwhile, we'll add Terry into the scene. I think that's Terry Banton. I'm not sure. Let's unmute him and see if we can hear you. Hello, Terry. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah,
hello.
kind of
Can you
heard
hear
you.
me?
We heard you briefly.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in my dressing gown this evening. Hello?
I'm going to go and get a book. Just let me know if you want me to do...
I've got a book for you.
Ah, we can hear you. I can suddenly you can hear. What have you got there? Hang on,
Footpaths of Great Britain. I've got to give you when we go to Ditchling.
What is it? The Footpaths of Great Britain.
Yes, all over the country. Yeah. Published in the early 1980s, so it's a bit ancient.
Oh, well, that's all right. Sometimes it's nice to go and take... Oh, my God, there's so much feedback. I don't understand this system. Why that... I can do it this way. I can't... This is ridiculous. Yeah, sometimes it's quite good to go and look at the footpaths and see what they were like in the old days and see if they're still there.
Yeah. It's by...
It's by what, sorry? It's by one kill.
The compiler is Michael Marriott.
Michael Marriott from the hotel chain. Could you turn? Can you turn down your laptop because I'm hearing? I think I'm hearing. You might.
I'm on the phone actually.
Oh, on the phone. Oh, is it?
Yeah. Shall I turn off the TV? I'm on the TV as well.
Well, that might help. Or just turn it down. But I think what's happening is your phone is sending the signal back to me again. It's all very exciting, but it's a nuisance because we're hearing a distorted sound.
Okay, bye. You talk to Colonel Cragratty now.
Okay, nice. Thank you for coming on the show.
Okay, bye.
Right, let's see if Colonel Cragratty... Hello. Are you there, Colonel? Well, he's there. It's nice to see your hat. I have to say, it's a lovely hat. Colonel Cragretty, Earth to Colonel Cragretty. You are unmuted. I ought to be able to hear you. Right. Meanwhile, Nigel Sadler has made an appearance. Let's get Mr. Sadler on. Very kind of you to join us, because I'm sure Mr. Sadler will. Let me just add you to the scene, Mr. Sadler. There we go. And I'm just going to remove Colonel Cragretty for a second. Hello, Nigel.
Hello, Richard. Hello, everybody else.
It does work. It works. The system works. Nigel knows how to do it. I know how to do it. It does work.
Yeah, you got to turn the sound off in your YouTube stream.
Just like you do. Just like you do on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's all working on a slightly different stream. Well, because we're live and YouTube is 40 seconds.
Yeah, this is absolutely, yeah. And this is something that, I mean, it's so difficult to get this over when we do shows, but it's lovely to see you. Got whose birthday is it? You've got a happy birthday thing above your head. Oh,
well, that was Emily's from last week.
18. My goodness. Has she got the key to the city now? Tunbridge? Oh.
Something like that. She wants to come down to Brighton next week and has suddenly remembered she's got a driving lesson on the morning of the night afterwards, and she's now demanding we can't drive down to Brighton to pick her up and bring her back in time, rather than her get up early.
Yes, I can understand that. Will she, if she goes down to Brighton, she's going off for what, an 18th slap up, is it? You know, a bit of on the.
Yeah, she's only going down with one of her girlfriends.
Yeah, so they'll be completely rat-arsed, and then the next day they've got to.
Well, they might be.
I was just a driving test.
Did you say lesson or a test?
Driving lesson.
A lesson.
Left of the lights. So go left of the lights. Left of the. No, it's no left turn. Oh, no left of the. Have you been drinking?
It's going to be a nightmare. More teenagers on the roads. Oh my goodness. My son is taking driving lessons. He is 26. And he said to me, he said, Dad, you know, the car I want to get one of them Hummers. I said, but you won't be able to afford. I know he wants one of these big, I don't know what they're, Hummers.
You can't fit a Hummer in Worthing, for heaven's sake.
I know, and
it's too big.
He won't be able to park it. He won't be able to afford it on his, you know, at 26, his first time.
Insurance or the diesel.
Exactly. Or if anything goes wrong, a garage and anything, MOT, blah, blah, and tyres and all of this. So he did discover that he didn't want that in the end, because it was, you know, it's going through that process of going, oh, everything's so expensive. Yes, it is expensive when you have to pay.
Go for the Nissan Micra. Always the one.
A good old Nissan Micra. There we go. Pootle around. So how the devil are you, young fella my lad?
Doing all right, actually. Doing all right.
Have you
been
been out in your motorhome, or have you sold it now?
No, still got it. We actually went away for one night last weekend. We let the daughter have a party.
And you just camped out at the end of the drive.
In it. We camped out at the nearest campsite. The son was on another campsite because he was doing his Duke of Edinburgh last weekend.
What does the Duke of Edinburgh award scheme these days consist of? The
bronze, you do a weekend away in little teams. It's just guided. You have to follow a set path, a set route. You have various checkpoints and things, and you go to a campsite. You spend the night, and you then leave, and then go to your finishing point. At the same time, you have to do about 4 other tasks throughout the year. You've got to go and volunteer somewhere. To help do a community sort of thing. You've got to improve on a skill. So if you were a musician, you need to learn how to play the piano, for instance, or improve on that. Or if you're a footballer, improve on your footballing skills, and do a series of things like that, which is all part of the phase project. And if you do all those things and are certified for doing it, you can't just get your mum to write down, "Oh, went to football practice." It's got to be done properly. Then you get your bronze award, and you can work up towards the silver and the gold and this, that, and the other. at which point they then have to dig the Duke up to give you the gold.
Surely, where he's buried, there'll be a little hatch that you go and you open it up, and a hand just comes up. I mean, you could do that, couldn't you?
Quite
And
likely.
just have
Quite likely.
There must be enough recordings of him going, "You did very well. Here you are. Have a medal," whatever it is.
I would imagine all that's built in St. George's Chapel.
Yes, I mean, imagine the
I'm
poor
sure.
little sod turning up there and being all struck as the organ plays apparently on its own, and then this hand comes out of the grave and goes, "Here you are, young fella.
You did very, very well.
Lend us a fiver. Got a light bulb. It's dark down here." And all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, that sounds really good. So he's doing that, and meanwhile, your daughter is 18 and is now ready to fly the nest. Not probably.
Well,
No, exactly.
Yes.
And I had a message today from the person I bought my van from. Talking of your motorhome, and apparently today I got this message saying, "Happy Vaniversary." I bought my van on this very day, 22nd of October, 2020, along with when I went up with Mr. Suggett and picked it up and drove all the way back from wherever the hell it was in Yorkshire. Betty's Tea Rooms. Harrogate, there we go. Just north of Harrogate, somewhere up there anyway. It was very nice. So it was a year I've had my van. I can't believe it. And now I've painted it pink, and I've got all sorts of feathers. Gutted it, put feathers in it, taken it down the abattoir many times. In fact, tomorrow I'm picking up some logs in it. It'll be the first time I've actually used it as a van to pick up some logs and a bookcase, but not at the same time.
I think the bookcase. I think, regarding to the interior, as you say, it is rather dark and isn't ideal for filming in there. Painting is obviously a solution, but that's a bit hard to reverse. Although you can use the paint with the paint, providing you use the right paint to go on it. Don't laugh too much. You could always use sticky back plastic.
Yes, no. Somebody was telling me about
like
there's some sort of stuff that you can do on that. What you want is some heat shrink. My dad used to use heat shrink on his aerials, and he used to have, he used to use this stuff, and then he'd get a hot heat gun, and it would just shrink onto things, and so you didn't have, where a sticky plastic can get get a bloody line in it, and it all looks naff. It's a lot of sticky back plastic you'd have to do, and it's all that ribbing that you've got to get around, which is a pain.
Yes, well, I was thinking just doing it in panels, but the problem is that when it comes to the summer, the heat, then it's all likely to start crinkling and bubbling up and doing all sorts of nasty, messy things, and the glue will go. Because being black, I assume it'll get to a very high temperature on the metal itself, because you've only got a bit of tin, effectively, a bit of metal. Only hot on one side and even hotter on the other.
And very hot on the inside, I can tell you.
So it's a bit of challenge.
It is a bit, but I'm waiting. I was promised this rope of lights, or this light rope, or whatever it is. That a firm had reached out to me, with big, long, tentacle arms, and they said, "Hello, Mr. Vobes. Would you like to try this and give us a good review?" I said, "Well, yeah, but so far the review's going to be rubbish because I haven't had it. It hasn't arrived." I can't even remember the name of the company, or even if I've still got the email. These emails self-destruct after 5 seconds.
I mean, they're not hugely expensive. You see them in camping shops and things all over the place, because I think we could do with something on the outside of the van. It's just pitch black in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Go down.
Well, this is a portable thing. You have a little box, not much bigger than a phone. You plug it in, and the lights come out of that, and you just charge up the phone when you not the phone, obviously, but the light the power supply, which presumably
not much different from Christmas decorations, really. I mean, we've got various little things. We've got some actually in the van, just battery operated.
There you go.
These are they're not weatherproof. They're not for outside use. You can get in outside ones that are in weatherproof containers.
Yes.
Which put batteries in, or as you say, charge it, and then you just trade it around. You see them on campsites quite a lot, on just around the tents and things.
Yes.
Get up in the middle
Well,
of the night,
that's. I think this is the whole point of this. You can roll it up into a little roller, and it's a portable, temporary lighting solution. But I thought if it's any good, I'll stick it in the van. They said I can have it if I give them a good review. So I thought, well, fair enough. If it's any good, I'll keep it. If it's not, I'll just pass it on to somebody else.
your magnets seem an ideal way of fixing them as well.
Exactly. So that seems to be lovely. Mr. Mocky says ribbed ones are better, I was told. Yes, talking about the interior of the van, I think. And Audrey Forbes says he could spray the inside with rattle cans. What are they? Spray cans, I presume. Rattle cans? Me neither. Paul Cockrell says he could put... I don't like the way they're talking about me in the third person, as if I'm not actually here. He could put the Starsky and Hutch stripe down the side. Yeah, he could do that. Joanna Jones says jump through the window in his Daisy Dukes. Is that the Dukes of Hazzard? Referencing the 1970s American programs there. And Colonel Craig says stick some light-coloured pieces of material to the sides of the van with double-sided tape. Yeah, I'm not very keen on all this sticking things on, because you just know you're going to rub against it and it'll just come off.
The heat and the coldness and adhesive just doesn't generally work.
Yeah, exactly. So I've either got to paint it, spray it, I've got to take everything out and just get something that you just go... What you want is a paint bomb, isn't it? You take everything out the inside of the van and you just go... And then you go back in.
Just put Joe in there with a large tub of paint and a paintbrush or a roller and shut the doors and come back an hour later. I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
I bet you come out, there'll be no paint anywhere except all over him. It'll be like all over him. So it's anyway. I thought it was interesting that we'd been a 365 years with a van. Lovely.
Yes.
So I'm very pleased about that. We have a walk coming up. Are you coming to the walk?
Unfortunately, I've got to go to a 70th birthday that Saturday. So I was that was my plan, and then suddenly this got arranged.
Well, it's next Saturday. It's next Saturday coming, isn't it? It's sneaked up on us again. I'm hoping that the weather will be nice. We had a lovely day today. Today would have been good, although we'd had a couple of days of rain down here, so the ground is a bit boggy in places, usually underfoot. Expanding hang on a minute. What's Mr. Mocky on about now? Expanding foam, insulation and colour in one go, like the inside of a narrowboat. Hire a spray gun. A spray gun.
Well,
like a big industrial...
That would do it.
Yeah, I suppose you could do it. If you...
Look, it all depends on what sort of paint
the thing
you're
is,
going to use.
Somebody said that you've got to sand everything down to begin with. That's what put me off. It was you've got to sand down the existing paint, so you've got a surface on which the next layer of paint will go, because it's all shiny, you see. So it won't properly set on it. But I thought there must be paints that are designed to sort of semi-melt the surface that it's going on and then adheres itself to it. But I don't know. Anyway, we're probably...
Well, presumably it's enamel paint. It's the same paint on the inside as on the outside, I assume, or there'll probably be fewer undercoats. And you're not going to. It's not going to get abraded a great deal, is it? And you're not going to be
not on the inside, no.
And trees and things and lampposts. No, exactly. So I would have thought that almost any car paint, for example, would do it, and possibly even some art painters, graffiti artists use, which is a quite different paint.
Joanna Jones suggests a paintball gun. I think that we could have we could have a mission in and out the van. People could just shoot each other and whatever, I'm sure it'd be modern art. That would be quite good. Yes. So I don't know really. At the moment, I have no idea. But there we go.
Or you can get coasters. You get a whole load of little coasters from who, and stick coloured coasters all in a checkered form. So it's a bit like tiling, as if you were doing the kitchen, but with little 3 square.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I think what could take a photograph of the top of my head, and just put like a bald on the inside, this sort of dome all the way round with little characters. You could have Eric going along, the little lovely Julia. In fact, we could. Here we go. We've got them here. Anyway, this is getting us nowhere fast. We've got some videos to put in. So,
Yes.
but I'm very pleased that everything's all right in your world, and we've had a nice chin chat as ever, which is good. Oh, by the way, microphone's working now. Does it sound better to you?
Yes, it sounds good. The problem from the other night was particularly is that when you're talking directly on the axis,
Yes.
you're sitting at the left, it's fine. But if, say, you lean forward to touch the desk, or you were adjusting Julia's mic and you were speaking
Yes.
just a little off it and talking, then
Yes.
you were completely
Yes.
different. You were barely audible. While Julia, it clearly wasn't pointing directly at her, the purple one, and she could be anywhere in the area of her seat,
No.
and it didn't make a difference. Yours was as if you were using a cardboard microphone, definitely.
Yes.
If you weren't speaking right
No,
into
I
it, you just...
I
Yeah,
always
back
kept
again
thinking, I
now.
wonder what's the matter with it, because Julia always sounded great, and I thought, well, I don't know why mine is. I kept thinking it was just picking up bounce, and it was a bit. But it turns out it's not the microphone at all. It turns out it was the channels in the desk, and they. I think it wasn't actually the microphone knob down this end. It was the gain knobs which weren't. I've given them a good old twiddle. I know you can get some special solution that you can squirt into them. Yeah. And then,
Cleaner, yes,
so I probably get
spraying
some of that, because there's still a little bit of a. Not doing it now, but there's a little bit of a rustle on them. Yeah.
That little rasping
So I'll try and.
sound, yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but
Hissing
I'm
and
sure a online retailer will have something.
Yes, it's
Electro lube.
something like that. It's called electro.
I
used to have
write
some,
that down. Make
but
sure I don't buy the wrong sort of lube. Electro lube.
particularly on mixing
Yes.
desks with sliders like your big one, because then you can spray that down the groove, because that the potentiometer is obviously going up and down a long groove bit, and therefore there's dust. And
Mr. Mocky says
stuck in
server
there.
super
So it's good.
serviceal 10 is what you need. Does that ring a bell? Vaguely.
Vaguely.
I mean, I have
Some-
got
there's sort of loads
Radian
of
B.
product.
I've got some Radian B. Would that do it? I think
sure
it is.
Radian B
It
is a
says here
solution to
muscle
everything.
lotion, but it may. I mean, it's just got such a great. I've never actually. I've not even used this. Oh
Go on,
gosh,
have a
yeah,
whiff.
that would get you high. I mean, if you've never got into glue sniffing, this is the thing for you. Bit of Radian B of a night. Cool, blimey! Imagine what you could do with that. Lube all sorts of parts of the body up. What are we talking about now? What is it? Where's it? I'm going to write that thing down that he just said. I don't know what super. What was it? Super something. Super serviceal. Serviceal 10. I've written it down. I've no idea what it is, but I can look it up on some. Anyway, Radian B is the other option that we have got. Right, we are going to move on, Mr. Sadler. Thank you very much.
You get on.
And wish everybody a lovely time in your family.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
we'll
Have a great
hopefully
walk
post
next
some
weekend.
pictures up. I probably won't do a video, but hopefully we'll post some pictures up and all of that. And fingers crossed for good weather. Brilliant. Take
Yes,
care.
very
All the
much so.
best.
Okay.
Bye. There we go. That was the lovely Nigel Sadler. I don't need these on anymore now. Phew, that's good. Right, let's go and have a watch of a video. And there's lots of comments there, and I can have a peruse of those as we get onto the comments. Thank you very much for that little segment there. You join me in the show, and we waffle about something so totally dull and boring that most of the audience disappear. But it fills a gap, doesn't it? Fills a gap. Shut your trap. It's a toss-up now between Bernie and Aga, so we're going to start with Bernie. And Bernie, interestingly, has gone to Rye. Say that with a straight face. He's in Rye. Apparently there's 3 more of these videos, and then he's taking a break whilst he edits some stuff that he did in Scotland or Wales or somewhere. I can't remember now off the top of my head. Bernie will no doubt remind us. All good stuff. Let's find out a little bit more about the lovely town. I'm going to go there. I have been there once before, but I'm going to go there and have a mooch around when I can get over that side of the county, because the A27 at the moment is a bit of a nightmare. Bernie, let's have a look at what you're up to.
Now that's something interesting. WD. War Department, maybe? Could that be something to do with the Second World War? I should imagine they had a lookout post and things here during the last war, because this would have been a prime point of entry for the Germans. But, do you know, all these years I've been coming here, I've led tours around here, coach parties. I've never seen that. One feature of these old churches has got to be the trees. And look. And this one here. How about that? And this churchyard's full of them. And zoom in on that one. Look at that. And then further over, look at the mighty trunk on that one. They trees have got more than one story to tell, I'll bet. There we go. This is why it's worth getting up at some unearthly hour of the morning in the pitch dark to drive 30 miles from home. Lovely, peaceful time of day for filming, especially when you need just to stand back and admire buildings like this. Isn't that lovely? Even with this little courtyard running down beside it, look at that. Almost every corner round by the church here, you've got something else. Look at that. It ain't only the trees that could tell a story. I mean, look at these doors. They go back a few years, I'll bet. What are we looking at here? 15th, 16th century. I had to bring you around here because even though I'm not, but I almost have really, haven't I, done the whole of Rye. This is probably what we're approaching. It's the most famous building in Rye and the most famous street in Rye, because I'm standing on Mermaid Street and there is the Mermaid Inn. Dates back to about 1186 or somewhere like that, but was rebuilt in 1420. Rebuilt in 1420. Probably the most famous building in Rye, this one.
There you are, the Mermaid. I've been in there, been into a bedroom that has a back passage, a back staircase, secret staircase. and spoke to the landlady. It was years ago. I don't think they have it now. I think somebody else has it, because there was a time somebody showed a video of it about a year or so ago, and as I remember it, it was empty. It may have been 2 years ago now. I've been doing this Vobe show for so long, but somebody sent a picture in or something, and I said, did the same thing. I said, I've been in there. And they said, it's now shut. So it was either being refurbished, but hopefully it's nice and open. It is a very lovely place, and a place that the Hawkhurst gang used to go to in the mid 1700s, and do their sort of, I think they sat in there and they did, a bit of planning and things, as you do. As well as the pub up in near Hawkhurst, which isn't called, what is that called? Can't remember what it was, but I filmed in that one as well. I've done quite a few films, but Bernie, that was lovely to see that. Colonel Cragratty spotted it as well. The WD, I didn't know what that stood for, but possibly the War Department. But the signage was a benchmark. I did a video about that. Did a video on benchmarks a few years ago. They're all over the place. They're quite interesting to look at, because if you get an old Ordnance Survey map, the old maps, it shows you where they are. But then you look at a more modern, more recent OS map, it's interesting. Those buildings which had the benchmark on are supposed to be buildings that are unlikely to be demolished, because they are to do with servicing, and it's something to do with the level of the water level and what have you, but so many degrees above water level, and they're all marked down somewhere with, as in a code form. I don't really understand it myself, but I recognise the benchmark sign, and they're supposed to be put on permanent places that are unlikely to move. But then you see that in the 1960s, for example, so many of the buildings that these benchmarks were on have been demolished. And it was interesting looking at that staircase that you showed us, because you could see where the wear and tear right at the beginning. Here, look, if we just have a quick, have another look at the beginning.
That's
look,
something interesting.
right on the top there, right on the top. It's just worn a bit. Fascinating. Thanks for that, Bernie. Love that. And those houses. Rye is so lovely, isn't it? Isn't it lovely? It is lovely. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much. We have time for one more video, which we're going to go to in a moment. Let's just have a quick look at the comments then. Mark Burgess says, I had a drink in there some years back. Mark Burgess, you were a member of the Hawkhurst gang. Admit it. There you are, down in the smugglers' country of Dungeness and all round there. Of course you were. And what else have we got? Kerry Baldwin says, my favourite literary character lives in the house with 2 front doors opposite. Which character is that? Like to know. And is it... I can't think. What famous literary character comes from Rye? I probably don't know. And Joanna Jones says she cleans in one of the houses, the one with the lights on. We're glad that they got the lights on, otherwise you'd never be able to see where you're going if the lights were off, unless of course it's daytime. I imagine you probably go in the daytime anyway. Ernie says there's a WD mark on my house on the north side. Is there a benchmark on your... There you go, you see. Yours is a nice old house. How interesting. It means that it's worth an extra £400,000 if it's on a school building, Ernie. Just so you know, make your day, that will. Many thousands of people use those steps every year. I bet they do. Mark Burgess has been rumbled. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Diana... No, not Diana Dawes. I nearly fell for that one. Diana Dawes. Deborah Martin, benchmarks are used for measuring altitude. Yes. If you're in an aeroplane and it's got a benchmark on the side of the aeroplane, obviously it's going to be a varying mark, presumably. Who is this? I'm curious now about your favourite literary... Oh, here we go. Morton Farrier, genealogist. Books set in Sussex by Nathan Dillon Goodwin. I read an interesting book. Is it up here? No, it's not. A story. Has anyone heard of the... What's it called? The Sussex Murder or something. I've just read it by John Bude. Not his real name. John Bude. He wrote a series of these. Unfortunately, he died in his 40s or something, and he was, not quite at the height of his fame. Anyway, he wrote a story, a murder story, the Sussex Murder Story or something it's called. And somebody gave it to me a while ago. It's been on my shelf, and slowly I do get through these books. A lovely story, a bit cheesy in places, but it was a lovely, set in 1936, all round Findon and Washington and on the Downs. And I thought, I'm going to go and trace some of that to see how much of that is true, because it was pretty accurate in a lot of it, because he would go to places in the 1930s, and you'd go around and you'd go, oh yeah, I know exactly where you're going. He was talking about places before the bypass was there, for those people who know where the A24 bypasses Findon down through Washington, talks about Wiston House, talks about the Chantonbury Ring. People go down to Worthing, and the constable, sorry, it sounded like I swore then, but I didn't. The constable, he's a superintendent. He's based at Lewis, and he's out there, and he's driven her out. Fascinating little story, very cleverly devised, but I worked it out before the end, which was like Murder in the Downs is something like that. Murder in the Downs, brilliant. It's a fantastic story. There is a loco. Mark Burgess says there was a loco Kesser with the, I don't know what a Kesser is, with the WD logo on it. Robert Maudsley says, thank you. Dan Ludlow says, I knew a bloke that died at 100. I knew his neighbour better. They lived at 98. I think I've said that wrong. I think she saw Russ. Anyway, whatever that is, it's all good. There'll be a preservation order on your toilet. Okay, let's have a look at our last video. This is Stephen Agger. He is still up at Rochester. I don't think they've let him out, poor bugger. He's still there, looking at Rochester Castle. Let's see a bit more.
At the top now. There's the motorbike boy. Spectacular views up there. There's the M2. Down the Medway. Train coming.
Amazing zoom there. We're going to have Zoom wars, aren't we? I can see that. There we go. Fantastic. Oh, my goodness. You soon get a bit of vertigo when you get up there, don't you? Blimey. It's a good job that when the Normans had it, they made sure there was a floor to walk on. Obviously, UPVC double glazed windows as well. Probably had a little helipad at the top so you could fly in and out and make it a bit more sensible. Imagine having to only arrive on horseback. That would be barking. I'm sure they had a penny farthing as well knit round the back. Mr. Mocky has sent me thank you very much, Stephen, by the way. That's very kind of you to send us that. It's fascinating. I haven't actually been. I've been past Rochester Castle many times, but I've never been in it. I think, you see it, don't you, from the other side of the river. Is that the Medway coming in there? The Chatham docks and various, or on the way to Chatham, I've seen it on the other side. And I think I've filmed it once from the roadside for a corporate thing, landmarks. It was a landmark for a corporate thing, but never actually been in it. So it's nice to see what it looks like. Thank you very much. Mr. Mocky sent in some more of that Serviceall Super 10. Here's a picture of it. That's what it is. And it is actually switch cleaning lubricant. So there you go. Just make sure you get a nice 4-pack there if you want. So thanks very much for that, Mr. Mocky. I will make sure I buy some of that and squirt it where the sun doesn't shine, which will, I'm sure, improve the show no end. Anyway, there we go. That's it. I think that's all we've got time for in today's show. Thank you very much for joining me. A bit of a mad nonsense at the beginning of the show, but we've managed to scrape through. Hopefully we'll have our new phone systems up and running and you'll be able to call in, which would be lovely. Thank you to the lovely Julia and Judith for monitoring, to Terry Banton and to Colonel Cragratty, who we saw but didn't hear, and to Nigel Sadler, who we did, for joining me during today's proceedings. And, of course, to our wonderful videos, Stephen Agger, Bernie and David Keel. It's been absolutely brilliant to have your videos. Thank you very much for that. Well, have a good weekend. Next week we've got the Board Explorer Walk, but we'll tell you about that. Tomorrow's video, I've made a video about how we are losing things, and you will be able to see that on the Board Explorer channel tomorrow. I'm going to go and do the thumbnail and the description now. But in the meantime, take care, look after yourselves. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time, bye-bye.